他就会有沟通上的障碍。他不是沟通，他是 inform。好 ，OK， 谢谢。
Thank you. Can I ask you to raise your hand if you've ever had to make an EE poster by yourself without talking to your audience? When you give a presentation to a class, have you ever had to prepare that presentation without talking to anybody who's in the class? So few of you. I'm doing that right now. I didn't talk to any of you, none of us did before we started, right? So, yeah, it's challenging. So how many university professors talk to people in their class before they actually start teaching the class? So maybe it's one-way communication. Yeah, that's one of our challenges, how to get to our audience. Okay, so now I'm going to let Condor fly farther. So point to someone you'd like it to go to.
这可以用，能听到吗？我是关注的佩奇，然后我想要跟大家分享一下，就是我刚刚在画这个图的时候呢，所以就是我把它反馈到我的工作上，一些迷思的点。然后我跟我的伙伴在画这个图的时候，我们都有注意到，我们好像都有感受到那个时间压迫，所以呢，我们拿到图之后呢，我们就会。简单的想到要 patient specific 可以了之后呢，我们就开始下指令，你的线要往前后左右这样移动这样子。然后可是后来我们在对的时候，我们就发现说，我们好像忘了在之前，是不是先给对方一个比较纵观的轮廓，就是一个大范围的轮廓，去跟他讲说这个东西大概是长什么样子。然后我只是直接下指令，然后我就想到说，我们很多时候在执行某些计划之后，然后我们可能跟一些执行者在说明这些状况的时候，其实我们都忘了跟他们讲说，要做这个计划的目的是干嘛，它原因是什么，它应该完整的想象是什么。然后我只跟他讲说，你就去执行这个体验活动，你就去做这个演讲，你就去做这个比如说研究会，然后让他们去一步去做。可是他们可能就没有办法有一个合理的想象，然后所以他们做出来的东西可能就跟你的这个计划的本来追求目标可能就有落差，然后可能就因为这样子呢，没有达到最好的效果。就是完成游戏之后的这个想法，这样谢谢。
我是说，其实我们可以先把游戏规则再确认一下。比如他说要一笔画到底，但是可不可以重复画？那如果是把游戏规则弄清楚的话，也比较可以沟通的更清楚。Actually, to find the loophole of the rules. Excuse me, I'm here. Yes. Actually, I'm trying to find the loophole of the rules because you just say that one draw, you cannot leave the paper. However, can I just draw on the lines I just drew? So I can still follow the rules, but make it easier. That's what I meant.
So if the rules were specific enough.
But I can find some other way around and make it more flexible and more efficient.
then you're allow flexibility. Is that something you want to say?
Yeah, to find out the very, how should I say, just out of the box. Yes.
Perfect. I have a lot of games where I give people rules, and there's ways to get around the rules, and that's fine. It wasn't a rule. But in certain cultures where people have a lot of clear instructions and are used to just follow instructions, sometimes harder. So I want to make sure I capture what you want to say. So you want to say, make it clear that it's okay to interpret the rules how you'd like.
Or you can find some other alternatives within the rules. Without breaking the rules, but you can find the alternatives.
Oh, how about encourage, how about this? Encourage creative thinking.
Okay.
Is that right?
That will do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I feel so fortunate you speak English. Thank you. Okay. Okay, that's enough. So what your job is now is to be with your pair again, and you're going to start making a list of the characteristics of good communication. Good communication is patient. Definitely true. I realize I need to speak more slowly than working with translators. Specific, clear, etc. So there's many more characteristics of good communication. All of you communicate every day. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes in your pairs to actually expand this list. What questions do you have? Okay, great. You can start.
跟你长得蛮像的啊，你这样跟我长得，发现脸上也一模一样啊，那个人脸啊。太快了，这种方式 且你做那个蒸出来的东西，它也是跟这个地方会不会啊？基本上多厉害的。
This, of course, is an exercise that can go on for a while as it should. So we're going to revisit this as we move through the workshop. And we're hoping that this will be a tool you can use as you're planning your own communication to think about, oh, does it have all these characteristics? And we were thinking a lot about what you said. And something that came to mind is what are ways that people might misinterpret information. So I gave Xin Cheng an example from Panama, which is there's a special kind of eagle there called a harpy eagle that hunts monkeys. It's a big bird, it's beautiful and rare. So there were environmental educators saying, this bird is so valuable. This is the most valuable bird in Panama. It's so valuable to the ecosystem. It's so valuable. So sure enough, you can predict what happened. One day they opened the door of their office and there were 12 dead harpy eagles. And the people said, you said it's valuable. How much are you going to pay us? We didn't know this was worth a lot of money. It's valuable. So you need to think very carefully about how you're going to communicate your message. So speaking of that, I'm going to show you some slides. I'll give you a few tips. So these might be things that you've already listed, or they might inspire some other thoughts. Here we go. Oops. The microphone. And will it work all the way from there? Okay. Forward. So, you'll notice that both of these pictures actually have the same information. They have 4 circles, an oval, a line, and a triangle. But that information is communicated differently. So, all of you might have, because of the number of people, I don't know whether you had experience with both kinds, but which is easier to draw? Number 1 or number 2? Number 1. You're connecting with something familiar. So that actually might be something to think about in your communication. So, we already did this. So, we're going to play a game. Ready? Okay, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. And I'm going to ask you to remember what's on the screen. Is everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, how many stars?
10.
About 15. About 15 is correct. There's not 15. Let's try this game again. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. 5. Wow. Whoa. Did I say it right? Yes. Okay. What was the difference between those 2 pieces of information?
It's last and also has escape between each stop.
remaining pieces of information or less is the rule I follow, if I can, in my communication. 5 or less. Wait, but we all know that we learn more than 5 things. So how do we do that? We're going to play another game. You ready? Same rules. 5 seconds. Tell me what you see. I'm going to try to count in Chinese, so be forgiving if my pronunciation is horrible. Okay. I can't remember how to say 4, so we'll try. Okay. Oh, no. How many? Okay. 1、2、3、4、5。What did you see? 16? Okay. What did you see? Black shirt glasses. What did you see?
Many icons.
Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to count in English because that was hard. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did you see? 5 kinds of symbols. How many of each symbol was there?
它有5种那个符号，那属于1的就1个，属于2的就是2、2个，3的3个，4的4个，5的就5个。Do I have to keep?
Forgive, no, you were correct. So what was the differences between this piece of information and this piece of information? Right, there were categories, there was a pattern, it was organized. It was organized into how many chunks? 5. Right? So, another way to remember information is to tell a story. So, Chen Chen was very generous, but in fact I never took Chinese in school. And, well, I came to Beijing last week, but before that I've never been to China. So, I basically have no Chinese. But, I am going to show you something really special. So, I don't know whether I can do the slides myself from here. We'll see how well it works. Okay, so, notice I cannot see the screen. I need a black pen, thank you. Okay, so last week I was in, I'm probably going to say it wrong, Xi'an, which has all kinds of beautiful things. Right? So there's the, I think it's called Grand Goose Pagoda, the Drum Tower. There's the mosque, which is one of the oldest mosques in the world. So you see Muslim characters that are actually made to look like Chinese characters. Okay, but something that Xi'an is famous for is food. Right? So I'm going to introduce you to a food. So how many people here have been to Xi'an? So you may have already tried this food. It's one of the 10 unusual wonders of Shanxi. And it's called Dian Dian Mian. Dian Dian Mian. Okay, now you might wonder why there's no Chinese character. It's because it is supposedly the most complicated Chinese character to draw. So complicated that there's no computer version of it. But I'm going to tell you the story of the origin of this character. So, are you ready? I might need somebody to help me with the slides. Okay? So, you ready? Okay, you can go. Work? Okay. So you know how this goes. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a cave. Oops. And I heard this voice coming from the cave. And it was deep inside the cave. So I went to the edge and I saw a thread. And I followed it all the way to the end. And there was a second thread. I went a bit farther. And so I went into the cave, and as I went, the cave grew bigger. And you know what? It grew even bigger. And you know what was there? A horse. And the horse said, I have a huge heart. In fact, my heart is as big as the moon. But you know, when I see what's happening to the world, my heart is cut like with a knife. And I said, horse, don't worry. Let's walk out of this cave together. And we can make people understand your story. So the horse said, let's make a new character. And we're going to name a delicious vegetarian food after this character. So I'll show you one of our franchise restaurants. You can see there's a picture of me on their sign. So we've continued to serve these noodles to the delight of people up until today. So you might wonder, how is somebody who has never taken Chinese able to do this? A character that I realize most people here have never seen before. So I'm going to show you something. It's about using pre-existing information and applying it to a new situation. This is something we call transfer. So, I was hiking and I saw this sign. So you guys probably know I was just in the Amazon jungle. So, something that they eat where I lived is monkey soup. These little girls are actually eating monkey soup. That little girl, Fiorella, is chewing on it. But thankfully, I was in Japan. And in Japan, that second character doesn't mean soup. It means offering. So, I took Japanese in school. That meant that I'm pretty good at writing the characters, although I don't know how to say them. So, if you visit Japan, you can read a lot of the signs, right? You know that that's not the entrance, right? You know that it's not allowed, right? You know a lot just from the characters. But you can also make mistakes. So here are a few characters that have different meanings in Chinese. So the first one means local training in Japan. The second one I was told here can mean both smell and listen. It means only listen in Japan. And the third one means postage stamp in Japanese. Keep. Okay, so when you're presenting information, sorry, yeah, sorry, that was my fault. When you're presenting information, it's very important that you're clear and don't present information that's confusing. So we have another task for you. So you need to put down your pens. Okay? And I am going to give you 1 minute to memorize your shopping list. Are you ready? 1 minute. Okay, go. Okay, so you've all seen the shopping list. And now, we're going to look at the next slide. Now, this is my Chinese homework. So I was learning food. So they were saying the foods, and then I was trying to write them. So I'd like your help. So can you actually help me to make sure that my Chinese homework is correct? Do you have the sheets? Do you want characters? I need to correct them. Okay. The sheets are already written. Okay, so maybe some of you will have to describe, did I do a good job? Are they all correct? Oh no, oh my gosh, what mistakes did I make? Tell me one of the mistakes. How about that first one? Oh, how do I correct it? Okay, very different. Okay, well, I feel like the second one, I think I know, that one I think this is a mistake, right? Is that right now? Yes. Okay, what about the third one? Oh, I think I know what's wrong with that one too, maybe. No. That, right? Okay. I think the fourth one is correct. Oh, I think I know if you can write the fifth one. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. I think that's what's missing there. Okay. Oh gosh, that's the same character. I got a twofer. Oh, I think the next one's right, actually. Okay, so you've looked at that list? Okay, are you guys ready? Pick up your pen and write your shopping list. The first thing you saw, write your shopping list. In Chinese, it's funny. Do you understand? I'm going to give you a minute to remember your shopping list. The first thing that you saw. you to check your own work. What were you missing? What did you get right? Okay. So, how many of you got it 100% correct? Pretty impressive. So, what do you think this is teaching you about how to communicate?
So I think the shopping list we must organize. So something like a meal will be have some connection with other food, or maybe the carrots should be food. Shopping bag is like a papaya. So very very easy to get it in memory.
Why do you think I presented my Mandarin homework afterwards? How did that affect your memory? Thank you. Something to add?
I want to share my. If you want people to remember something, you better present last.
Very good. They're along the same lines. Clarity, the order and organization of your information. Also, if there are two things that are very similar, one is correct, one is incorrect. Don't tell people what they shouldn't do. Tell people what they should do. Does anyone else have anything to add? Okay. Now that we've actually seen a few things related to communication, I'm going to give you a few minutes to talk with your partner again and see if there's anything you'd like to add to or change in your list of communication experience for good communication. Okay? So, again, Connor's going to fly up the center this time. And he's taking a long journey. A journey all the way to the back. In fact, oh my gosh, he's going all the way into the hallway, I think. So I'm going to pick someone to come and share something with her.
我要 share 的是就是跟刚刚那位同学讲的一样，就是我们在跟对方讲一件事情的时候，要跟他讲这件事情的